in Florida where, it's already 81 degrees, so it's beautiful out. And I know many of us up north may want to start negotiating winter terms. So I'm going to talk about negotiating a little bit today and give you about 10, 15 minutes of things that I think we need to always consider when you're negotiating. But the other thing is I was going to share some things that I've always found, and I've had a couple different coaches tell me what my personal biggest pitfalls were in negotiating. And I still find myself having to correct and find myself on that every day. So, the one thing is, and I actually term this, I see some Florida people on here, is Florida are transactional agents. They're representing, it's the transaction. And the one thing I really like that is if we kind of have that mindset, right? You're representing a buyer, representing a seller, is understanding what the transaction is. And I think it's funny because when I was just with an agent here in Florida talking about something, is he accepted the terms of a deal. He accepted the transaction the way it was. And we need to accept that. And he actually said to me just now, 5 years ago, he would have been upset. He would have said, this isn't a fair deal for my seller. I don't think we should accept it. I think we should keep the house on the market. And instead, he wasn't afraid to sit there and say, the house has been on the market for 4 months. We haven't seen anything close, and all the feedback keeps saying bathroom too small, backyard they don't like, and aren't able to change those things. So he wasn't afraid to focus on what's best for the client and understand the terms of this transaction is the best deal. And what that meant is we're not going to see anything better. So I think we should accept this. We've already been on for 4 months. And he talked about what his seller's motivation was. He used the seller is moving and wants to move by the end of the year. They're not in a rush, but he went back to, hey, look, it's been on the market for 4 months. We can't change what the feedback has been, and you still want to move. So we talked about that. And the seller basically became a quote unquote realist and said, you're right. And what he did is he actually said, and this is where I think we talk about negotiating a lot. And one of my biggest pitfalls is he stopped talking. He stopped talking. He listened to the seller. The buyer had the right terms they were looking for, except price. And he kept his emotions completely out of it. And I think that's one thing where, I hear a lot. I know Kelly's on here. I see Carl and Sandy too, is we always hear a lot from our agents, and we hear so many things where emotions get put into the negotiation. Whether it's over a home inspection, whether it's over the price, whether it's over something. And I know Jody's taken a lot of classes and learned, and all of a sudden we start hearing like, oh, this buyer, this seller, the agent's being ridiculous. Why is that out there? Why are you getting involved with that? It's the process, right? Every deal we have has a price, a closing date, and some terms to it. We're negotiating those items, not getting upset about, I can't believe they're asking for my lawnmower. They asked for your lawnmower. It's a negotiation. It's a personal item. It's not really a big deal. We're selling a house, not a lawnmower. So, it's not about you. And that's where it comes. And that's why I started off saying I like how Florida as transactional agents, right? Think about, it's not about you. It's about your client. It's about the transaction. And I think that's the biggest thing we need to look at. And I've had multiple people tell me, and Kelly's video is on, she's probably going to laugh because, sometimes you can still see it, is don't talk as much and listen more, right? If we set up realistic expectations on what's going to happen in the market. All right. Again, I'm in Niceville right now. The home is going to be most likely in the market for 3 to 4 months before we get an offer. Here's what prices are. Giving them the market data every week, not just once, updating them every week what's going on. I'm setting the right expectations. So when I get an offer that fits the parameters we've talked about, I'm in there. And let them talk. What is their reason they're moving? Why are they moving? What's the motivation? And use that language kind of reaffirming like why they're doing this to help them, because you're trying to create a win-win structure, right? You're trying to get a transaction, which is a win, and help your client, whether it's a buyer or the seller. They're moving here to Niceville, and maybe they have to move for work, or maybe they're just buying a secondary house, or they've always wanted to live here. But price isn't always the number one priority. We saw that a lot in Connecticut in COVID, coming out of COVID, right? We all remember those. It wasn't that sellers, I don't know where I'm going to go. Or how many times did somebody get a deal because they said, I'll close on May 1st, but you don't have to leave until school gets out on June 15th. And that's what made the deal. Or non-refundable money, right? It wasn't always the price that made the deal. So I think we need to do that and understand on the timing and what that means, and understand big picture of, again, what are they trying to accomplish, and hitting those things. But if we set the proper parameters from the beginning and we kind of keep going over that, because the market shifts. Every week, the market's shifting. We're having that communication. They're getting golden ruler. You're calling them, having a personal touch to make sure that's going. And here's where I think the number one mistake to avoid is keep your emotions out of it. And by the way, if your buyer or seller goes cuckoo bananas and is screaming and jumping off the wall, do not share that with the other agent. If your buyer or seller is having a breakdown, do not share that with the other agent. Don't say, oh, they're really difficult. That just put the words in the other agent that this is going to be difficult. And now they've got something that they're thinking about. The other thing, too, is listen, and listen actively. If you're only focused on your pitch and what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do, you need to listen. And sometimes listening is with your eyes on what your client is looking to accomplish. We all know sometimes we know our client and they want to get a win. It's got to be something. They want a little win. Give them that win somewhere. It could be like, they lost on X, Y, and Z. They need some sort of win. Maybe it's a closing day. Instead of on Friday, it's on Wednesday. And that's not a big deal to the seller or buyer. But don't get emotionally involved, and don't share any emotions that are coming out to the other co-broke. The other thing, too, is, and this is what I always said, I talk too much. I was always told, you talk too much, PJ. And I had numerous coaches, especially on the recruiting side. Judy Lador said it in front of about 100 people at a former company of mine. In front of everybody, said, PJ, great job, but you talk way too much. Stick to the facts and let the other side reveal their hand. And if you talk too much, you're going to weaken your position. I'm going to share this little story. It was a brand new agent many, many moons ago going door knocking. Comes back to the office and says, you won't believe it, I got an appointment. I said, that's awesome. What happened? I knocked on a door and I said, we've got some buyers who are looking in this town, and I wanted to see if you're interested in selling. And they said, we actually are. And I said, oh, how'd it go? He goes, I made the appointment for next week. I go, you had him right there. You didn't talk to him about it? Oh, you told me to go get the appointment. He wasn't listening that the seller just told him, I'm thinking of selling. But the other thing is sometimes we overtalk, and we are not letting, if you get a yes, if you get something, you're going to make them have different concerns, doubts, whatever that may be. I'm going to use the other example, which a lot of you on here have known my opinion on the co-broke stuff. Let them, as a seller, let the buyer ask what they want. Yes, we'll offer a co-broke. Write it up. I don't want to reveal my hand, what we're willing to offer. Because if you offer $50,000 over asking, my seller will probably pay 3% or 4%. Who knows? But if you offer $50,000 below asking, they probably don't want to pay more than 2%. Let the other side always reveal. Stay emotionally out of it. Listen. and don't over talk. The other thing too is I always feel we need to not overlook the important things for our clients when we're negotiating. So use this example. If Jody told me her and Tom really want to sell and they have a place, but they want this closed done before November 1st because they want to be settled in by Thanksgiving. And I'm making this up. Jody's not moving anywhere. But I would want to make sure like they're closing October 31st. I don't want that to just be there. Oh, good, she's hit it. I'm going to remind Jody, this is getting to where you wanted to be. You wanted to be closed. You wanted to be moved and settled by this time. Don't overlook some of the contingencies that are very important to people. Remind them of that, whether that's they're waiving home inspections. Your home is 40 years old. This is a good thing because things are going to come up in a 40-year-old home. They always do. And know what a walking away point is. Know what that is. And I'm also going to share one other thing that I find is very, very important when you're doing a negotiation. You need to build rapport with the person you're negotiating with. You need to build some sort of rapport. You don't need to know them. You don't need to be their best friends, but you have to find some rapport that you can talk to them. Hey, and it could be, hey, Jody, how you doing today? Oh, I'm great. I'm really busy. Hey, you know what? I just want to follow up, blah, 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 blah. Have something. Make it so they know, this deal is going to be, you're going to be easy to work with. You want to make this deal. You want to work with them. You're not revealing anything. You're not showing your hand, but build rapport. And the last thing I'm going to share, and this is something that's always been added, right, is time kills all deals. If you wait, people start thinking of different things. Follow up will kill the momentum, will slow everything down. You want to be professionally and keep deals alive by moving along. So if you have something and you're like, I'm really busy right now. It's 9:15. I'll get back to them when I'm done with all my appointments at 1. Well, in the next 3-4 hours, guess what might happen? They talk to an uncle. They see another house online. They have second thoughts. They start getting, pre-wedding jitters. Bless you, Nicole. Those things throw people off. So time will kill deals. People get excited. As soon as they see that house and want to write up the offer, that's the most they're excited, right? Don't let that linger. If you have risk, try to move quick. Be prompt. Don't let that time kill the deal. So I'll say this. From the beginning, we need to set proper expectations and continue to show your client the parameters what they're doing. If they're trying to offer $300,000 for a $400,000 house, show them that all the houses just like that have sold for $400,000. Right? Same with the sellers. Keep your emotions and your client's emotions out of it. Right? Listen. Don't talk too much. Always reiterate what the important things are in the transaction and what they're trying to do. And build a rapport and always act professionally and move quickly on your negotiations. If negotiations moved, they keep the momentum going and things happen fast. So I'm going to open up to any questions, comments.
I would add one other thing, PJ, and that is how to answer a question without answering it. When they ask you, how much should we offer? Try to.
Well, what would you like to offer, Carl?
That's how you respond. What would make you happy?
Right. That's a great point, Carl, right? You're negotiating without giving out a number.
Yeah.
Or a term.
And you don't want your client to blame you if they don't get the deal, because that was your number.
Right. I just feel a lot of times deals get broken up because emotions get involved, and it ends up you're negotiating a deal for a week, 2 weeks. Like, why are we going on so long? Right? That's momentum's going by the way side. We're getting people not excited anymore.
And you see too many times where agents get cross-sword and they can make a deal disappear.
Really quick.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to have good rapport. It's easy for an agent saying, you know what, I don't know if this house is right for you anymore. We're not getting to where we want to go. Let's go look at these other two this weekend. Jody, what about you? I know you've got some experience and feedback on it too.
I love listening to some of the top agents negotiate. And it's so funny because you're right. They don't, most questions are trick questions to try to get you to like either agree with wife and the husband doesn't want it, or you know what I mean? There's more to the story all the time. So it's really important to ask more questions. And I think state facts, like what should I offer? You know, that's not a question you want to answer. You know, that's a, how much do you love this house? Are you willing to let it go? Tell me what you're thinking and get them to say it. Well,
Right.
in our
And show
area,
them
we're
the
still
comps.
so
Here's
yeah.
comps. It's $200 a square foot is the average, right, Jody? It's there's nothing on the market that's in this price point,
Yes.
or
And days
you
on
know,
market. And the cool thing is showing time tells you how many showings are in that price range within 5,000. So you
yep.
can say, well, it looks like about 15 other people just looked at it the last 2 days. So what do you think? You know, and you put it on them.
Jody, how do you find that in terms of the number of properties that are within that price range and
I
how
will
many?
show you. I'll show you.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
It's a report you can do. It's easy.
Mhm.
So I used to love to go like conventions. You know, we always stay with each other. And that's when you hear like Paula Burton negotiating, you know, on their phone or different people. And I just like, it's so fun to watch. And everyone has their own technique, and you have to find your own way of doing it. And I think you're so right about making them feel comfortable. You know, as a manager, we get the deals when it's gone off track and they are upset. And I've been able to make people happy. Like I just had one where the buyer actually hugged me at the walkthrough. He was like gonna sue everyone. And you know, just and all I did was not say anything. I just let him talk. So, like you
Great
said,
points, Jody. It's great points. For I know they're a little rigged and cheesy and sometimes not accurate, but when you watch sometimes those shows on TV and they meet the other agent and the buyer's there or the seller's there and they're like, or the two agents are sitting there over a cup of coffee and they're like, talking about a deal and then they go, well, let me call my client and they step outside and call. Think about the momentum they're keeping, right? They've got the other person's attention right now. Let's try to get it done right now. It's kind of like if somebody emails you or texts you or you just talk to somebody, yep, I got your offer. Try to do it right then because you've got everybody's attention.
and I think you have to remember they want the house. So I love what you said. Well, let's go look at other houses. Sometimes saying that is exactly what makes them want to write the offer.
Yep. Because I want this one.
Right.
And again, keeping emotions out of it is so important. And try to make sure, again, your clients, they're keeping some of their emotions out of it. Hardwood floors can be redone. Paint can do a lot. That shouldn't kill a deal. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question. I have buyers who I've been working with like forever, and we've seen a number of houses. I mean, many houses, and they can't decide like on a house. Like we saw one yesterday, and it was good price range. It had good number of rooms. It was in pretty good shape. It just needed like the wallpaper to be removed. And they said, oh, we'll think about it. And I haven't heard from them. So I don't know how to handle them anymore because I mean we've tried. They've seen houses.
So I would ask, what's their motivation? Why are they moving? Why do they want to buy a house? And have they put in an offer yet on any of the houses you've shown them?
A couple.
And were they good offers that they just didn't get because of multiple offers?
They one of them was pretty close to what they were asking it, but it was a house that was it was active. There were a lot of people coming in to see it. And they have a limit, as everybody does, in terms of what they could offer. So, yeah, so they have put in some offers. It just wasn't that competitive.
So if they're not that competitive, right, to me, it sounds like they're looking at houses. They don't make decisions quickly and their offers aren't competitive. I don't know how serious they really are.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting frustrated with them,
So that's where it might be saying a follow-up on this house is, hey, Joe and Jane, it seems like this house fits a lot of your parameters. You know what the market's been like. We put in offers and haven't got them. So I'd say, is this a house that you want to move forward with? If so, we need to put in an offer today. If it's not, please tell me exactly why you don't want to put an offer in this house. And then I would use that against them, not against them, but if they want to go look at a house, like take those parameters and do that, or say, look, I think we should only look at houses that fit the parameters you just told me about.
Yeah.
Right? If they told you we want this, this, and this, that's what I think you would use. Again, not using it against them is the wrong word, but use that for them. They've been telling you we're going to look for this. They haven't been competitive. They're obviously not that serious. And if they don't want to put a real offer in this house, they're not. So what is it that doesn't fit this house? And if it doesn't, then say, okay, we're going to go only look at these houses because that's what you told me. And you know what I mean? Like try to pull it back
give it
from
back
them.
to them, remind them of what they've said.
Yeah,
in terms of what their needs are. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I know sometimes it's hard to kind of start pushing a buyer away a little bit when you've been working with them for a while.
Yeah, and they go to my church and I love them dearly, but it's like, come on, let's do something.
And that's why I would say, like, what's their real motivation? Because it sounds like they're not really motivated to do something.
They tell me they're unhappy with where they're renting now. So, but what?
And when's their lease up? When's their lease up?
I think it's a monthly lease.
Okay. Remind them too, like if they don't do something, so you want to get out of your rent, you want to buy something, like what do we need to do? What do we need to find for you to do that?
Yeah, that's
because I want to get you in and settled before the holidays or something. Like give them some sort of timeline that makes them to start think about, oh, I do want to get in before Thanksgiving. I want to, go around like, oh, you could get into this house and have your family over for Thanksgiving,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jody's going to cook you an apple pie.
Thanks for your perspective and your ideas.
Oh, you're welcome. It's never a perfect science. Everybody's different, and you have to kind of, that's the kind of the fun thing and hard thing about real estate. Every deal is different. Every person's different.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, have a wonderful day. And again, all of us are all here, managers, your transaction coordinators, market coordinators, we're all here to help you. So if you need help, reach out. And if they're not the right person, they'll get the right person for you because we're here to help you be productive and, and have fun and sell more houses and help people, achieve their dreams.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.